Hey, good afternoon in the UK. And we've got Jessy Miele here from WMMA. Oh my goodness, what an honor. Do you know what? I'm starting to feel a bit more starstruck because usually it's the guys here, the first female MMA Bellator that I've got on the Phil Carew Show, and I'm truly honored. How are you, Jessy?
I'm good. Yeah, it's 10 over here, so it's a little bit morning, but it's still it's chilly, but it's still nice. I'm outside for once. It's not 0 degrees, so I'm happy to be here.
Oh no, like I said, I'm really truly honoured and here. We're just speaking a little bit, folks. The audience out there, just behind the camera, we're just getting to know a little bit about each other and having a bit of a laugh. And we're currently enjoying it at the moment. The first question I'd like to ask you, Jessy, is how did you get into MMA? Was it at a young age, or was it later on, and then you thought, well, look, I like the look of that. I'm going to have a go at that. I'm going to do that now. How was it? How did you get into it?
So I was an athlete all my life, played soccer, softball, basketball, everything in high school, college, played rugby. I played rugby and it was awesome. And then when
Wow.
college, when I was the inside center in rugby, and so you're getting the beat down. If you guys know rugby, you get the ball and you're the first person everyone wants to kill. So I was fast, but a little bit thicker, so I was able to make that work. And then after college, I kind of moved back home because I didn't keep pursuing it. I was like, do I want to play in the all New England or this team? And I ended up coming home, and then I'm like, I just don't want to go on a treadmill and run. I need to have a something. So someone was like, why don't you learn karate or kempo karate, try it out. You'll learn something plus get exercise. And then someone's like, here's jujitsu, and I'm like, all right, the competition side came on me. So I think at that point I was, about 20, 21, 22. So later in life, 21, I started, and then I was just like, listen, I'm pretty good at this and I want to compete. Let's go. So my coach, Chris, he said I had to have a blue belt before I could ever have an MMA fight. And I just went with it, went every tournament I could and did my best and boxed and did everything.
Wow. That's amazing. I love asking these questions because usually, it's, when I was about 4 or 6 or something like that. So, you always get something where, in part of people's backstory, I've noticed that later on when people try something, I love to do that as well. When you look at something, you think, shall I do that? Oh, I don't know, shall I not? Is it a bit too dangerous, or shall I I'm a bit daring, I'm a bit of an adrenaline junkie. Are you yourself a bit like that?
Yeah, definitely. Yep, absolutely. That get engaged feeling, it's just it was, I don't know, there's something about that.
Oh no, I totally understand. No, it's much appreciated. A great answer. The other answer I'd like to ask you is, do you have a favorite martial art combination that you like to use in the octagon? Is there a combination of something like maybe 2 or 3 that you have in mind, or do you think you like to mix it up a bit and go, well, actually, I've got more than 2 or 3, but depending on how I'm feeling, you could be 50 moves ahead, because you have to be, don't you? When you can't be, I'll be one step ahead, 2 steps ahead, because what you don't know is the other opponent could be 50 steps ahead of you, and so you have to be always ahead of the game. What is it for you like for yourself when you were doing that?
So 50 is a lot. I don't know if I'll get that far. It's really hard. My brain might not take it, but definitely thinking 2 steps ahead, 3 steps ahead. So my coach, Christopher Smith, trained under Richard Bastillo, and as much as I am doing MMA in the cage, and it's a cage fight, and people are like, oh, I train MMA. Bruce Lee's 5 ways of attack have really helped me, and he's taught me those. Yes. So attacking by draw, you draw someone in, you got to be careful though, because sometimes you draw them in, they actually might get you good, and you're like, uh-oh. So, those types of things, you attack by draw and get them to react a certain way, and then you react a certain way. But it can be challenging, because you got to be really mindful. There's a attack by combination, ABC. So there's a lot of different ways of attack, but I do think that my coach, Chris, who has introduced me to that kind of lifestyle, which is more of a street fighting also kind of concept, has helped me kind of figure out different ways to draw my opponents in so I can get something off for me. But yeah, it's very interesting. I wanted to also prove that I have a really good striking game, because I was finishing a lot of my fights just by taking people to the ground. And then at this point, I'm like, you know what? It doesn't matter. Like, I don't have to prove anything. I just want to finish the fight and knock this girl out or do something.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
I've gotten away from that mentality.
No, that's a brilliant, because I've noticed in martial arts that, you know, sometimes it can be misperceived as what you see in the movies, because I've spoken to other martial artists, you know, past and present, where how do you feel about, in terms of the way martial arts in the films, when they do the choreography, have you ever sort of pointed out certain things with fellow martial artists and MMA fighters, where you're probably sat there watching a movie, maybe there might be a handful of you there laughing, thinking, pointing out all the mistakes they're making, saying, really, was that going to happen? You know, in about 10 seconds, it's going to fly off the roof, and then this massive great hammer, and then land something like this spectacular move with a spin kick without breaking the neck.
So real quick, I have been playing around with some stunts. I've been helping working with some people who do stunt work in Connecticut at APM.
Yeah.
And there's a reason why they're like, all the stuff, you know, like straight, I want you to loop. I want you. Yes. I'm like, oh, okay. Because the way the camera is, and there's a stacking, there's all kinds of talents that the video, just in general, the stunt people have. But it's so funny to learn or like unlearn the proper technique to be in the movies. And I'm like, I don't want people to think I'm bad, but you know, that's one thing that I definitely have learned. So it's all about how it looks on film.
It's true, because like even a number of seconds, you know, because in reality, when you're there with your opponent, you must have that. When you had your first bout, you know, when your first matchup, how did it feel when you first won? Because I know there must be times, because obviously nobody's perfect, you're going to have ups and you're going to have downs, because it's part of the process, you know, of your journey, you know. But when you're going to have bouts, it must have been great, you know, how it must be feeling, you know, when you got the crowd there and everybody there, because, you know, it's different when you've got nobody there, when you're doing something and you got them into a lock, or you've done a strike or takedown, and then, you know, you think you've got the crowd behind you and they're like, Jessy, and you're like, oh, wow, this is amazing. You know, what was it like from your perspective? Because obviously it's different from the crowd when they're watching you and then you're doing your thing, you know, but what was it like from you, from the inside out?
I think no matter what, crowd there or not, you're still in your own head. You're like, that's why I like you said, adrenaline rush. So sometimes I go to like a little park and it's like, oh, just jump off this small little, you know, bridge thing into the lake. Like, it's legal, it's allowed, but it's like that. And then you go for it. Like, I have to like kind of mimic that in real life, like outside of the cage. Cause once you're in the cage, you can hear like the muffled sounds, but like, you're like, my first win, I was choking the girl, it was a rear naked choke. And I'm just like, keep going, just don't stop. In my head, it's like, you have to really just like keep yourself in your head. Like, don't get out of your own head, but you're going to get tired and be okay with it. It's just crazy. Like, you're still, as much as the crowd is there and everybody's supporting you, you still kind of get that, like, in your own mind, you can hear your own voice kind of thing.
No, brilliant, because I think even getting that, interpreting that, how that would be like from inside you looking out, because, you know, when they do a choreograph, you know, what it would be like inside your head, even as that character, you as yourself, you know, it's amazing to hear that, because it's not the same as watching someone and actually being there and like feeling every single moment, knowing, right, look, I've only got 2-3 seconds left. Come on, you can still stay. You can get, because anything can happen in a few seconds. You know, within those rounds, you know, it could be, I don't know, within 3 to 5 seconds, they could, you know, unlock that, come out and try and do a rear naked choke to you, do a triangle or anything like that, or even do a leg lock, or whatever, you know, what they can do, you know, anything that they can do within those few seconds. So no, it's amazing. You know, I like hearing these things, because, you know, nobody knows better than you do, you know, than the person actually having to do the finishing. Because it's strange when you think you've finished, because I've done that before when I was doing a jiu-jitsu lock, and I thought, yeah, I've got it. And he said, but have you got it tight enough? Because you've got to be able to feel it where you're there, and you think, is it fully locked? And you're like, oh no, you could feel the little grip. As soon as the release has gone, you thought, you know, then you're like, right, start again. Roll, let's roll. And you're like, oh.
Same thing in a fight though, like, you know, that girl or guy, if you're in a, is saying, just suck it up, don't let her get it, don't let her get it. So it's like, who's got better like willpower to, like, is it locked good enough? Or is it in my head or is it in her head? You know what I mean? So you never know.
Oh no, that's true. I like the way you said that, actually. It's because, like, it's just, you have to think about that. Sometimes you just think, well, what are the battle of wills between you and that person? Which one wants it more? You know, because you don't know. It could be because, you know, down to the fatigue, they might be a lot more tired than you, and you've got extra stamina, extra energy in the tank to say, right, actually, I'm strong in here, and I'm also strong in here, you know. And you thought, right, I can keep them for an extra, and you thought, I'm going to keep that tight there, and I'm like, yeah. And they're probably thinking, oh, what? They held on for another 3 or 4 seconds, and that's all they needed. And you're like, yeah. Oh wow, that's all it takes sometimes, isn't it? Only a few seconds. Oh wow.
Say, I think the one video, I don't remember, it was one of the Sherlock Holmes where he breaks down, okay, this is how the fight's gonna go, and it breaks down, and then he gets in the fight and then does exactly what he broke down. That's what the 2-3 steps ahead thing, I was like, that is the best breakdown I've ever seen in my life. I'll have to look it up and send it to you, because it was the best breakdown of like thinking 3 steps ahead or 4 steps ahead and then seeing it in film. It was really good.
Actually, you mentioned that was amazing, because the first time I saw that, I think I know which one you mean. Was it with a bald guy, and they were boxing or street fighting, and and then he does, I think it's part of it, I think it was Wing Chun move, and there was I think around that time, whether it was a Victorian sort of time, where they had their own type of martial arts, and they used everything, you know, like it was their form of Jeet Kune Do, or their form of MMA, wasn't it, at the time, you know, where they use everything on there. And yeah, I know which scene you mean, but yeah, I know exactly what you mean. It's brilliant the way they broke it down, you know, from the punch, you know, the whack, the open hand, everything, all of it, and where he got him. And then he got to the point of where you thought, wow, that much detail. But then when you speed it up, you're like, oh my goodness, that was only like 5-10 seconds, and you think, boom.
Yeah,
wow.
They did a great breakdown of it. It was beautiful. And I think that's a thing, like your brain has a certain way it works, but it's hard to explain it. So
I know what you mean, but I think it's great you mentioned that, actually, because I was going to ask you something like that. I think it's a form of you visualize. What is it like for you when you come up for like a new opponent, you know, when you what preparation actually do you have like a few months ahead, or do you like the next bout, I'd say, right, okay, you've got this opponent in the next 6 months, so you've got time to prepare, so you're watching videos, you know what kind of like locks they're into, what their favorite move, because you know they're going to be repetitive with things, you know. It's in the boxing, isn't it? You've got to know what their strengths and weaknesses are, and what they like to put on, the moves and everything like that. And you think, well, I've been practicing this, practicing these, practicing that, and then, you know, what's your training regime like? Because can it be quite intense? You know, I've got a feeling, I know that you do quite a lot in MMA with your training. I think some of it could be more than what an athlete or a boxer has to have, you know, with the kind of training that you have. Do you have that kind of unconventional training sometimes? You know, if your coach says to you, right, I want you to run after a chicken. Is it nothing like that, like Rocky? Well, oh no, there's a cow, and you need to make sure you get it, or you need to lasso or a horse or something like that. Just so you see what your reaction time is, or anything like that. Is there anything unconventional like that?
To be honest, like so it's great because my instructor, it comes from a Jeet Kune Do background, specifically under Bruce Lee, under Richard Pastillo, who was a Bruce Lee student, alongside Dan. And it's really great to just kind of have that mentality of street fighting first. Obviously, I'm not going to eye jab somebody in an MMA fight. But when people tell me like in the street, or like a friend of mine's like, oh yeah, if I picked on you, you know, if I was going to try to fight you in the street, oh, would you punch me in the face? I'm like, no, I will literally throat jab you or eye jab you. I'm not going to punch you in the face. I will bite you. Like, I don't want to, like, this is a street fight you're talking about. So I'm not going to do that in my MMA stuff. So I'm not saying we're doing like unconventional, like we're not biting each other in the gym, but we have like knife fighting. We do a lot of Kali and Eskrima and Kali Eskrima. So stick and knife fighting. We do a ton of different things where all of a sudden it's like one person and it's like, everybody get that person, and we're all just, or we're all going crazy. And we do a lot of stuff like that. And it does. So I'm a black belt in jiu-jitsu, and I don't like to be on my back, but I will definitely be fine on my back because my coach made sure. That's why I'm a black belt. Like, but it's like that kind of thing. You put me on the ground, I'm thinking street fight. I don't want to be on the ground. I want to be up. I want to at least be on top, you know? So I think a lot of the unconventional training lately is also that adrenaline rush that I do some CrossFit stuff on purpose too, so I can get myself like in that zone where I'm not getting punched in the face, but my mentality is still like push, 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 push. But yeah, I haven't chased any chickens, but it's possible I could do that in the future.
I was going to say, because like, it's funny, isn't it? You could hear some of these guys. I've seen stuff that you think, oh my goodness. Because I remember, I think some of the fighters I've heard, and without mentioning their names, but some of the I thought, oh my goodness, that's pretty brutal. I'm like, wow. I was like, where did they find you? Was you like raised by wolves, you know, in the jungle of, in somewhere like similar to set in a scene of Jungle Book and Tarzan, you know, like all these things that you hear, you know, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? That's a bear, you know, or like a lion. No need for that. Or the lion or the bear. And thinking, oh, why? And then I thought, well, I suppose these unconventional sort of training is to sort of prepare you. What is it? The saying is, as far as what I can remember, they say train hard and fight easy, or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, the training is the hardest part. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Oh wow. So I'm enjoying this interview a lot. You know, great answers as well, Jessy. The other thing I'd like to ask you as well: are you a morning person or are you a night owl?
So it's mixed. So lately, I have been getting up at 7 a.m. for some reason. I don't know why, but my boyfriend, my live-in partner for 6 years, he's a musician. His name is Vatek, or Justin Vatek is his Instagram and everything, and he's been on fire doing the music thing, electronic music. So we do night, especially during COVID when we were not able to really leave the house. I would be shadow boxing. I used to break dance, so I would do some breakdance moves. And he would DJ.
Awesome.
And he's a producer, so he makes his own stuff. But yeah, so we made it work during that time. I would be practicing my stuff, and so sometimes we do music nights, and I become a night owl. so I'm not really. I know a lot of my coaches have been like, you got to have like consistency. So my consistency is usually my job, which is like a 9 to 5. So I'm usually at least up before that and in bed before like 12. So some days I might get up at like 8:45, but yeah, that's my consistency mainly. So I mix it up depending on the week, depending on how music's going and practice is going, but that's it.
Wow. Also, how did you feel in terms of, I think you, no doubt, I'm just going to retract this back again. You already answered the one, because I did ask you the question, but I think it's more of because I approached it in a different way, and I also I asked it in a different order. So you already answered the fourth question already in terms of the what it was like to win a match in Bellator, with Bellator MMA. What is your favorite meal? Do you have a favorite meal?
Meal? Oh, wow. Okay. I guess like let me comment on that. Like, I guess a lot of people ask me like, what's your favorite meal specifically after like cutting weight? Like, so I'm gonna go with that. So I typically I have a couple of like go-tos that are bad. I'm not gonna tell you those ones, but after I finish like the weight cut and I weigh in, I definitely get like sushi. because I want like the miso soup with the salt. I have like a tomato juice. Sometimes I might have a but Coca-Cola. Don't tell anybody, it's not really good for me. My Dolce would be yelling at me right now. Why would you do that? But that's a thing. I'm like happy. But I definitely get my sushi. I feel like, and I know people have been like, are you sure it's a good idea? You just finished a weight cut. And I'm like, listen, my diet's very similar for a long period of time. And I feel like it's completely fine to have sushi right after.
Wow.
Yeah, and it's filling, but it's not too filling. And you know, you get your salt in there with the miso soups and all the healthy, you got all the nutrients. So I'm a big fan of that. That's probably my go-to too, also, like in a regular daily basis. Like I like sushi, it's really fun. So I'm not like a big like sweet person. Like I don't need cheesecake and sugar. I'm more of a Italian bread and garlic. my boyfriend yells at me like garlic oil. He's like, what is wrong with you? You smell like a big garlic clove right now. I'm like, oh. So that's my go-to.
Oh wow,
off day.
I like that. No, I like that because I think most of the time we do like our sweet stuff, but for myself, I've noticed as well, my taste buds, I don't know how long ago it must have been now, but I've got a feeling that it's been quite some time. I used to have quite a bit of sugar. I think the most is probably about 2 or 2.5 in my tea, because in the UK, I don't know, you must know that that you may be aware that we drink a lot of tea in the UK, but I do have the odd coffee. And I think tea, over time, I stopped having the sugar. Now my taste buds, I'm very savory. It used to be quite sick. I used to have this very sweet tooth. It's strange because on coffee, I have to have 2 sugars, but with my tea, I don't have any. So I'm gradually trying to make the transition, just like I have with my tea, to have no sugar. Because it's weird. Actually, there was a mistake that happened to me where somebody gave me a tea and they accidentally put 2 sugars in the tea, and I took a sip of it. I was like, oh, I was like, wow, that is so rich. Because you know, when you're used to something savory, have you noticed when you have something sweet and it's so rich, like, oh my goodness, it's so sickly. It's like, oh. I was like, I can't eat anymore. It's just too much. You know, as much as you might like something sweet, if it's too sweet, you're like, oh no, I can't eat that. I don't know why, but I suppose that's what happened. You know, when you're used to a certain texture of stuff, whether it's food or a drink. But I like to have something sweet, but I've become more of a savory person. So you're very similar to me. You're like a savory. You have something sweet, but I think it's something to sort of. I like to have it to more of a boost, you know, because I like to have like a little mini sugar rush. I feel like I'm awake. I've come alive rather than I'm half asleep, you know. Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
The other question.
Real quick, I do have to say though, the cherry cola is like my go-to. It has to be in a can, and my boyfriend actually just remixed the Savage Garden song. It's the lyrics are like the chicka cherry cola, and I'm like, oh my god! So all I think about now is this cherry cola. I'm like, I hate you. Why do you have to remix this song? But that is my one thing that I do have. Oh,
I've got something close.
That's cool. That's so funny. That's great.
That is ironic.
That's pretty good. That's so
that is too weird, because like you were mentioning that I've got like a cherry Pepsi here, Pepsi Max, and the other day I did have a cherry cola, so that's even that would
I'm gonna go buy one after this interview now. That's it.
Oh wow. Okay, what is your favorite dessert? Do you have a favorite dessert, or is it an ice cream? Anything in particular you have?
Yeah, I think so I'll definitely say that like my second fight amateur ever, I lived with my parents, and my mom like brought home some cheesecake from like a party, and I think like I always tell this story, I think it's embarrassing, but I got home and I saw it and I was like, why did you do that, Mom? You did it on purpose. You put the cheesecake in the fridge. And I went and sat in my car and like cried. Yeah, she was like, I to eat. I did not do that. So I have a sweet for cheesecake once in a while, but I just want plain. Like I don't want all this like chocolate and stuff on it. Just plain cheesecake. Yeah. Usually once I have like a bite or two, I'm like, all right, I'm done. But that would probably be my my go-to.
Oh, I'm a sucker for cheesecake. I'm a big sucker for cheesecakes. Yeah. Oh wow. As soon as you mentioned cheesecake, it's like, oh wow, what is it?
We also recently went to Amsterdam, and I've never been overseas, and the food over there, I'm just gonna tell you, I don't know, like it's so much, nothing against cheesecake in America, but there's a lot of really good sweets and things that I tried, and I'm like, I gotta come back and experience more of these. So you guys have some good food over in Europe.
Yeah, no, wow. Yeah, no, that sounds good to me. Sounds like a good bit of advice to take on. So whenever I have to travel there, I'll say, right, yep, I remember Jessy mentioned that. I'm gonna have to check those out. Desserts. Ooh,
When you come over to
well
Connecticut, you gotta have pizza though. That's what we have. That's the best thing in Connecticut.
Oh, I love pizza. I like pizza. Oh my goodness. Yeah, well, one of my favorite ones I have was a Domino's pizza in the UK, and Texas barbecue. Oh, nice.
If you come to
And
Connecticut,
some Hawaiian.
you better text me. I'll let you know the places to go, because trust me, you're not going to Domino's in Connecticut. Not happening. I'll make sure you get good pizza. Don't worry.
Yes. You've heard it from Jessy. Look at that. Oh, that's amazing.
Anybody,
wow.
please message me on Facebook. I will let you know all the different awesome, amazing, beautiful places, and Connecticut and New York are the places.
Oh, I feel really honoured now. Look at this, folks. See, look, I'm not even asking, and I'm already getting great thoughts and views of this. Even going to Connecticut already. Even before I get there, I know full well I'm going to get a decent welcome with some pizza and some cherry cola.
Totally worth
and
it.
some cheesecake. Not forgetting cheesecake. There you go. Oh. Oh wow. Okay, do you have any other hobbies?
Yeah, so I did mention it before. I used to break dance. I like to say I used to, because I could still do the windmill, but like I'm a little slow these days with some of my moves. But yeah, the boyfriend, we do a lot of electronic music. He was in the army. He was stationed in Germany. And he's medically retired from the army, and he loves producing music. And I love dancing, and we just enjoy it. We travel to Canada sometimes. And
Wow.
it's great because I'm like, there's a lot of craziness involved in like music and things, but he's very healthy and focused on him. Like he works out with me. He does like a CrossFit kind of thing with me. And we work out together, we dance together, he plays music, I shadow box. So yeah, dancing, breakdancing a little bit, and then working on a little bit of the stunt thing. So I think a future for me, because I'm getting older now, I'm not going to be in the cage forever. So is going to be maybe hoping that I can do something, even if I'm just a backup person. I'm willing to dye my hair and braid it. I don't know if you can tell, I got crazy hair all the time.
Wow.
So I'm willing to, not that matters for stunt doubles, but like I can do whatever, or be, have some fun with it. And it'd be great to travel. And that's like kind of something that I'm interested in. So.
Oh, wow. You know what? I've actually gained more than what I expected on this interview from you, Jessy. I'm wow. You'll probably laugh when you look at my other videos from my other guests. Usually I've got a lot of questions to ask straight away, but because you're coming up with so many great answers, I think you'll probably laugh when you look at the next one of the actual past, I'll rephrase that, past episodes. There was a couple of instructors there, artist, Philippine martial arts there, and I was so dumbfounded and shocked that I was actually interviewing both of them together. Some of the answers they came out with, I didn't even know when to ask the next question. One of the instructors laughed. He says, "That makes a change, Phil, because usually on your other interviews, you've got one after the other straight away. But what's the matter, Phil? You," I was like this for about 3 seconds, and they both laughed. They said, "This is all right, Phil. You can go ask us the next question now." Oh,
yeah. Be honest, I haven't, like, I need to work on a little bit more, like on my Kali and things, like my Eskrima, like I need to like up that game for some stunt stuff too. Yeah. So I'm gonna have to watch some of your interviews with the Filipino guys, like see what they say about things.
No, it'd be great, because it was a few weeks ago. I had my third official lesson, because like I had my own sticks. It was given as a present several years ago. I wanted to go and do something with Dossi Perez, up in London, but obviously the distance and there and the time, sort of everything. And then I came across another guy on one of the interviews. I knew him indirectly without even realizing he was an instructor. So that was just like meeting you in the supermarket somewhere, and then all of a sudden you're talking about martial arts and MMA and breakdance and stuff like that. With this other guy, I was mentioning something about martial arts and all the different things, and then it went from like 20 minutes to an hour to getting details of him telling me he does one harness, and because obviously over there, you call it Kali, what you've got there, and then you've got, I think, different parts of the Philippines have got different names for it. In Cebu they call it Eskrima. In Manila they call it Arnis, and then over abroad they call it Kali. So, yeah, when they mentioned it to me, I was like, let me check to see what else he does. So I checked, I did a bit of homework, and he actually made me laugh, because when I came on, I was like, oh my goodness, this guy is the real deal. I'm like, wow. And I actually spoke to him face to face without even realizing who he was. And then I ended up interviewing him a few months ago, and he laughed. He just said, oh, Phil, your face when you realize who I was. I'm like, oh my goodness. I'm like, wow. And then now one of his top students that I've been working alongside with, it's been brilliant. It's really fun, because I've noticed, I don't know if you've noticed when you were doing it, that there is such a great thing of knowing that you can move from being using weaponry with it, whether it's knife, stick, sword, with your open hand, and you can the transition of it, because when you can do that, each movement is interlinked. So no matter what you do, you still have like a 1, 2, 3. You can be open hand from here, and then you can go into boom, straight there, clench bottom there, 1, 2. There's like 1, 2, and then you can do your third strike there. And wow, it was amazing when I was actually doing it. And I've had some funny criticism. I remember when I first did it with the sticks, the instructor, brilliant Leon Halsey, I'll just mention it to him. I like to name drop him. He's brilliant. He's been great understudy of Wayne Punong Guru Wayne Hunt, and he laughed when I told him. He said to me, Phil, what are you doing? I said, what do you mean? He says, well, I got the stick out, I was like this. And when I first started doing the rotations and doing the drills, he said, what do you think, you're Harry Potter? You're like, oh.
Hold it like a wand. Never hold it like.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
it's not a wand.
The butt of it slightly out, don't you?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Like, at least have like that much underneath. At least.
That's cool. It. I remember when I was doing it, you'd probably laugh. I'm going to get someone to record while I was doing it. It actually quite funny, because sometimes I don't even realise I was doing it. He said, what are you doing? So I was swinging my arm like that. And I was in my pocket, she was laughing. She said, but funny you should mention Harry Potter. Can you imagine Harry Potter having to, like, Filipino fighting sticks there going, yeah, exactly, going, swinging the wrists around like that. And he said, no, you can't do that. You can't do like that, because you're not getting enough impact of the swing. Because when you're swinging it, you're not using your wrist action. You're literally, it's like a solid. Even though it's a solid strike, I think you mentioned that the impact of it when you're doing it, if you're doing that, you're not giving the full power behind it, because it's only the wrist. You have to be doing it as if it's a full, from the shoulder and the elbow all the way through. As if you're, when you do a punching strike, you have to think of it as if you're punching all the way through, aren't you? You have to punch all the way through, as if until it feels like you're hitting it to the other side, rather than like as if you're tickling it on the surface.
Well, to be honest, after 15 years of doing, so I've done like Kali, and I've done boxing and martial arts and jujitsu, all of it in one. Like I did it all like you can do, but you know, you're doing certain things at certain times. I never did like, oh, I just did this for 6 years and then that. But the one thing I really have been working on lately, just thinking about stunts also, is like footwork with my Kali.
Yes.
So my footwork, because of course footwork is huge for everything. It's important for boxing, for everything, and Kali. But I've been very static. So I'm like, let me like really get my footwork going. And you just like move and look so smooth. And I mean, I should have been doing this since day one, but that's been my new thing. So I'm kind of focusing on a little bit more on, I'm not fighting at this moment right now in the cage, hoping next year to definitely get a fight within the next 3-4 months. But I've been working a lot on my Kali and my, and you know, it does warm you up a lot too for MMA fights and for boxing. It's great. I'm not thinking about, okay, yeah, I'll take a punch and I'll block it and then I'll punch. I'm like, no, if I'm doing, this is like a knife. You're not going to hit me or stab me first. It doesn't work like that. So it's a great mentality to have, and it really helps. So I really do enjoy my coach, Chris Smith. I'm so thankful to have him to teach me that kind of mentality.
No, I love it because, you know, it's so adaptable because like it's nowhere, and it's so very simple as well, because even with the blocking, I remember when they mentioned to me when they put it there, when the blocking with your hand not being too close with your fingers, but you're just there, and it's very close to proximity. It's not even that much movement. You know, you're just there, rather than you don't have to swing 360 to 180 degrees. So yeah, exactly, swinging your arms about. You're just very close proximity, and you don't very little that you need to do, and it's very simple. And you know, it's great, even having to use all that kind of movement as well. Because I made one of the instructors laugh, because he said to me, "How do you remember doing that?" I said, "I bet all your toothpaste went everywhere." I went, "Yeah, well, actually, I was brushing my teeth, and I was doing." I got my toothbrush, and I was like, "Hurt." I was like, I looked around. I thought, "Oh yeah, that's supposed to be in my mouth."
So you have to look at some of my Instagram, but I have light up sticks. They light up because I like, you know, light up stuff. I'm an old school raver breakdancer. So when Justin will play, I'm doing my like Kali, and I'm doing doing my sticks, all kinds of things with my sticks light up. So I got stuff like that too. That's just fun to play with, and
that's amazing.
Yeah,
oh,
it's cool.
Wow.
It's cool. Especially when you hit knock something over. Be careful with that stuff.
I'm enjoying this interview every second. Or do you have any pets, Jessy? You have any pets at all?
Yes, we have 3 pets right now. We're a big rabbit bunny family, so I don't have any children. We live on an old like kind of farmhouse right now, renting it in Connecticut, and it's beautiful and it's wonderful. But I feel like we're kind of like backwards. We have our children right now. We have our bunnies, and I have a pug, and they're wonderful. And then maybe in a couple of years, I don't want them to pass away, but hopefully they'll live long. But you know, me and my Justin will travel maybe to Europe and around once once they go on to their next lives. But yeah, we are a big bunny family, and we love our rabbits, and they roam the house. They have like little obstacle courses, everything, and they're very good. They're potty trained, and they pee in their little boxes, and rabbit poops aren't bad. They're like little chocolate. You don't eat them, but they're little, like you just pick them up and throw them away. It's not like a big deal. It's not like cat poop where you're like, eh. So if there's a lingering poop once in a while, it's not a big deal. We're okay with it, and we're really happy to have them. So.
Oh, wow.
Yep, we're a bunny family.
Oh,
I know, right? I punch people in the face, but I love bunny rabbits.
Oh, that's nice. Do you have any loved ones and relatives that also do MMA as well as yourself?
That also do MMA. I mean, I would tell you my best friends and my coaches are now my like best loved ones ever. No, they're my best friends and family. I'm really lucky. My whole family supports me. They've always come to my events and been very supportive of sports, but nobody participates. They've tried, like my mom has come to class once in a while. It's just, she's got other things going on. And my sister had a son recently. So right now it's just me and just the boyfriend, he's all about it. He just was like, I was in the army and I had to fight. I do not want to fight for fun. Like I just don't want to anymore. So that's his thing. But he pushes me every day in the gym. He's like, lift more, do this, work harder. I'm like, okay. So I'm glad that I have him for that.
Oh, wow. No, that's amazing. Getting that support, must mean a lot, when you need to have someone have your back, rather than just feeling that you've got coaches as well. You've either got other people as well, there, rooting for you, even during your training.
During
If you could have, sorry.
Real quick, just to be honest, the best part too is when I first started doing jujitsu and stuff, you can go to a different state, a different country, drop in to a gym, and they're just like thankful to have you. They're excited. So it's really cool to have that community, I feel like, worldwide as well. People have been really friendly.
That's good. Yeah, and that's what I like about the martial arts, as well as any other sport, everyone that has, that have kind of that mentality where you're welcome to have an open door for, come in, and roll with me, and, whatever you're interested in doing, come in, do a class with us, or even have a warm up or anything like that. And if you could have any choices of any superpowers, what would you have, and what purpose would you use them for?
What's the one where I can blink my eyes and I'm in a different country? What is that? It's time travel or travel. I don't need a time travel. I just want to travel with whatever that one is. That would be great because I could get so much more done.
Wow. No, that's a good one actually. I wouldn't mind that.
Yeah, I don't need to manipulate anybody or do any of that, like telekinesis. Exactly. I just want to be able to do multiple things as quick as possible and not have to take I hate flying. So I don't want to fly. I'll just
yeah, exactly. Just that's it. Just appear. You're there. Blink your eyes. Whoa, I'm here. Yeah. Oh wow. Yeah, save you on some air time, wouldn't it? It's like your eyes and you're there. Oh wow. Okay, what is your favorite color?
So I don't know. Technically, black is like what all of the colors in one. So I love black, I guess, and I guess red and purple are kind of like. So I'll mix them all together. Black, red, and purple. I hated purple because my mom loved it all her life, and as soon as I don't know, I grew up, I was like, it's kind of nice. I guess I like purple, but my mom is an amazing woman. I was just like, well, you like purple, I hate it, but now I have purple hair, whatever. So.
That's fair enough. What is your favorite movie? Do you have a favorite movie?
Oh man, favorite movie. I don't know. Anything with Denzel, Washington, and everything with Will Smith. They're my favorite actors. So I'll go Man on Fire. Maybe I don't really have a favorite. That's the first one that came to mind with Denzel. I just love him. He's a great actor.
Yeah, I like Man on Fire. Oh wow, that's amazing. That brought a tear to my eye when I watched that.
But I do like Harry Potter too, just so you know. I'm a big Harry Potter fan.
Yes, perfect. Oh, what type of music are you into?
So I'm actually a jack of all trades. I like everything when it comes to sports, when it comes to music. I don't like country. Let's do that. I'm just not a fan of country, but I'm an electronic music fan. Recently, a lot of the 80s is my go-to because I just want to go back to the 80s and breakdance and have fun. But yeah, I guess I'd just say some 80s music is my thing. So we'll go with that.
Oh wow.
Even if you go to old 80s or 90s rap, everything in the 80s was nice.
Yeah, I remember the time. I remember there was around between the 80s and late 90s when Run DMC and Jason Nevins, and I can just imagine you doing your windmill, doing that, and you're doing the Running Man, and then all of a sudden there'll be some sort of spectacular moves out of nowhere. You can be like one of those ladies just come out of nowhere. The guy comes out, and then there's you just pulls out this spectacular windmill move, and be like, "Wow!" I can just imagine.
Ladies, I love it, no matter what.
Oh no, it's ageless with that type of music. I've always noticed that. If I hear it on the radio or I hear someone put it on Spotify or anything like that, it's ageless. It never gets old, that type of music. It's one of those type of music genres that I've noticed. Even my mum, when she puts it on, I was surprised she actually put some rap hip hop on once. I said, "Mum, what are you doing?" One moment she's putting Venga Boys on, and then all of a sudden she's put on what is it? Tupac Shakur, Mama, or something like that. And then she's put Changes, and then from Changes she's put on something else. And then she's put on some music, some dance music. I thought, wow, is this my mother? What happened? What have you done to her? My mother's turned around and said, "Can I borrow your CD?" And I'm like, you want to borrow my CD? And my dad's looking at me going, he's looking at me, he's like, "What's she doing with your CD?" And then I realized she was actually downloading and copying it and putting it into a car. So she copied it, put it into a car for her own personal use. And she's
Cool.
blasting it in a car like a racer girl. And I'm like, wow, mum. I went, are you really my mum? What happened to you? I was like, this is cool. I was wondering what had happened to her. She says, oh, see, I'm a cool mum. I don't just listen to all this other sort of music. I'm very varied. I'm like, yeah, I can tell by that, mum. That's why you've got most of my music copied, stacked in your bedroom. Oh, my goodness. Oh, yeah, no, I never got embarrassed because I just thought that was amazing. I just thought my mum was so into different varied type of music, similar to you. You know, she's very open like that, you know, and it shocked me when she opened the car one day and she said, listen to this. I was like, wow, where did you get that? But this time it was my turn. I actually had to get the music off her.
That's cool. That's awesome. Yeah, no, I have my mom's cool too. She comes to the CrossFit classes with us. She does like less weight and things, but she does the CrossFit with us and she's like 60 something. I'm like, oh my God, mom, this is amazing. So, you know, she's keeping up. The moms are cool.
Well, salute her. Yeah, it's amazing. You know, I love hearing things like that. You're never too old to do these things, Jessy. Okay, what is the funniest experience you have had recently? Can you as far as you can remember?
I guess just in general, just let's see. Most fun. I think like just the holidays, this past holiday for Christmas and Christmas Eve, like my family, I got together with them and my boyfriend came and it was really cool. Like I wasn't cutting weight. I'm always cutting weight during Christmas for a fight. So I got to eat food and I was like, woo, and I got to experience just being with everybody after COVID, like, and not having to feel, I mean, I know still COVID is happening and people are still sick, but I felt like we just were a lot more open and just so thankful to each other and just be like, okay, like it's nice to hug you. And so I think honestly, that was like the most fun I've had for a couple years with either like before COVID, I was always cutting weight for a fight. And then after COVID or during COVID, I couldn't have Christmas because it was like everybody's sick. So I'm like, wait, you know, woohoo, we're all together and having a good time. So that was probably it for me.
Oh no, bless you. No, good on you. Do you have a favorite comedian?
Not really. I'm not really into it. Just I don't know. I mean, okay, well, okay. What's his name? Minisacco. He's like an Italian guy. He's kind of funny. My family like puts him on. I forget his first name, but he's like funny. He's always joking about Italian families, and my family is Italian, and we have like very similar experiences. I think I don't remember his first name, but I guess if I was going to go to somebody, he would be my go-to comedian.
Oh no, good on you. Like, you know, it's because usually, you know, when you have comedy, you know, there are various things, you know, and some people they name other people for like actor slash comedian, and you've got others where it's the other way around. You've got mainly comedians. Now I've noticed this as well, that with whether if you're a singer, actor, or comedian, in those three, they swap each other's roles. I've noticed this where you've had singers have gone into acting, actors have gone into comedy, comedians have gone into acting, and some of the singers have gone doing that, and then they might even surprise you. They end up doing something like who was it now? I know he had a little bit of a background in martial arts, but I think it was Tom Hardy. He did a jiu-jitsu. He came in and he just did his thing, you know, and I just thought, wow. So that's amazing, you know, and he didn't use, you know, his fame for it, you know, like similar to yourself, you know, you're very down to earth people. I've noticed that similar to you and himself. You know, you go out there where you get some people, they'll come out and they'll have this sort of mindset where they think, oh, do you know who I am, type of thing. And I thought, well, nah, doesn't work like that. And then, but also the same kind of thing other people have got to also understand is when I'm speaking to yourself and other people I've interviewed, they have to understand that I'm coming from a personal sort of sense of where I'm treating you like a human being, you know, as you would feel like you want to be treated, you know, and it's more down to earth rather than when was the last time, you know, you got your grading, your belt thing, you know, really formal type of thing, you know, and everything's sort of too formal. And then it got to the point of where you think there was one question that wasn't formal and you thought, oh, why didn't you ask me that in the first place? What are you scared of? I'm not going to like, no, you mustn't tell me that. or ask me that. This is why I like doing interviews like this, Jessy, because it's a lot more fun.
So his actual name is Sebastian Menisacco or something. I don't know, but it's like something Sebastian. Yeah. But he's cool. He's funny. He talks about all the Italian filming, by the way.
I'll have to check him out now. Sounds good. Who is the biggest inspiration for you?
My parents and my coach Chris are like my go-tos. Like I know like there's famous people, like I had a Mia Hamm thing on my wall back in the day for soccer, and like Chris Cyborg and Gina Carano back in the day, and now I'm in the same division as Chris Cyborg in the top 10. I was, Chris Cyborg's at number 1 and I'm like number 8 there. Well, this is like last year or 2 years ago now, but she's still up there. But everybody's kind of moved around lately. But I'm just like, it's cool to see people that are like your inspiration, that you're actually on the level or getting towards the level of them. But I definitely get inspired by my dad and my mom. My mom never stops. My dad is an amazing, he never stops either. And my coach Chris never quits and has always been there for me. And my boyfriend, of course, too, with the music, and he just has my back all the time. But they've been my parents and my coach have been in my life for like 15 all my life, and then 15 years with my coach. So but I think the closest to me actually inspired me the most.
Oh wow, that's a good answer. What is your favorite strike or submission to use in the fight? Do you have any?
Yeah, I'm a guillotine person. I won't hide it. I feel like back in the day, I'm like, I don't want to tell anybody. They're gonna know. It's like you can watch videos, but I love to choke people. I think of that in general. If I'm in a fight with somebody in the street also, or someone who's a giant guy, there's been arm bars where I got the arm and I'm hanging, they're just like, whoa, and I'm like, okay, it's not working. I got some of my buddy Parker back in the day. He's a big like 250 fighter, maybe even heavier now. But yeah, I'm like, all right, you're too big. So choking people, you can't really maybe you can, but I haven't had anybody be too strong to get choked, I guess you could say.
Oh, wow. No, that's fair enough. That's a good answer. I like that. Do you like to stand with your opponents or like to take them to the ground? Which is more often? Are you more of a ground person, or do you stand up?
Yeah, I mentioned it a little bit earlier. Just I definitely like to stand with people. I will take them to the ground, and I was trying to prove more of my standing game in the last couple of fights. And at this point, I just want to finish the fight and just show you that I got what it takes. I think Chris Cyborg actually had her first submission win like 2 years ago now, and she had all knockouts. And I'm like, that's the thing. It's like, there's only so many, like, who cares? Like, it's nice to have something different, but like, who cares? Like, let's just finish this fight. I want to win. Right. So
exactly.
I worked really hard to get here. So don't try to prove anybody just wrong or right. Just do your thing.
Do your thing. Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Okay. Do you have any favorite martial artists outside Bellator? Do you have any favorite ones that you have?
Well, Anderson Silva's always been my favorite one, just in general. I mean, he's not in Bellator, he's in UFC, but he's always been my favorite martial artist in general. I love him, and no matter what, he was just always the go-to to watch. I used to kind of look up to like Uriah Faber. I was like, oh, he's so good, he's so short, but he's good. No, just kidding. He was cool, but like I just back before I even knew martial arts, I would like watch them a lot, and they were like inspiring to me. Yeah.
Yeah, no, same here. I remember in the early days that I was like, wow. Just watching them is amazing. The sort of range of movement they have, it's just amazing, and the quickness as well, and the speed that they go out. It's just unheard of. When you watch people, it's like, oh yeah, it's just a takedown. But I think it's more of they take their time. They were taking their time, because sometimes you have a quick takedown or a quick, it's done. But then there'll be times when you think, what, this is worthwhile. Just play it out slightly and then just go right, and then just go for it when you see an opening. You're like, wow, they really kind of planned that. And you thought, what the heck? They could have just smashed them and finished them in about 4 minutes, but then it wasn't. It was, they just did that in like, wow, as if they knew. They just waited. Right, I'm gonna get. Like you said, you can visualize it, like even the Sherlock Holmes thing. It's the way they've done it, and And I was like, I can see a build up, and then you think, right, yep, I've seen an opening, boom, done, and you're like, oh yeah, that's it. They're finished. Oh, I love the finishing. I like watching finishings, you know, and the submissions and that on this.
Oh yeah.
I love those. Okay, what advice would you give to your younger self?
You said what advice I would give to a younger self? Right? Is that, sorry, I just didn't hear you quite clear it real quick.
Yeah. What advice would you give to yourself if you were to go back in the time machine and you spoke to your younger self? What advice would you give yourself?
Yeah, I mean, that, I guess there's nothing wrong with not knowing like where you're headed. I mean, I played, like I said before, soccer, softball, basketball. I was like, well, I don't know what I like all of it. Maybe I'm bored with this one. And then it was like caring what other people thought of me. I think even in the martial arts, I was like, I got to prove everybody wrong. I'm better. Like, I'm going to finally make it big. And, you know, being in the top 10 of Bellator, I'm not trying to say like that, I still, there's still chances to get to be number one, but I need to like also set like realistic goals of like, you're in the top 10, you've gotten pretty good at where you're at. Like, you don't have to settle for it, but it's okay. So, you know, there's only so far I can get, or people can push themselves without getting hurt. Like, there's a couple, I know a couple girls that are like younger, that are like super like not eating right, like they're just like, you know, dancers and things like, and they're like 12 years old, 15 years old, and I'm like, dude, don't put yourself through that, like that extreme craziness where you can get hurt because of that, you know. So that's the biggest thing. The other thing I would say is to stretch early. Start stretching, recovery stretching. Do not start when you're in your 20s and 30s. Start when you're young. It's very important to stretch after training, not just before. It is so important. And my coaches will yell at me and say, I've been telling you this for years, but yeah.
Yeah,
Appreciate it. I'm 37 and I'm like, just stretch after. It's very important.
Well, no, that's good advice actually, because I think it's with any workout, as well as just a pre-workout, and you have a pre-stretch, it's also good to have a cool down stretch as well, because it enhances your flexibility. I've noticed how much more when you're doing stuff, even when you're maneuvering things, you realize, you think, wow, and your range of motion is different as well. Whereas before you thought, well, hold on a moment, if I didn't do that, the stiffness would have been there. And you thought, if I didn't do that range of motion and stretch there, I would have gone click. You would have twinged somewhere, you know, and you think, oh my goodness, you're starting to feel things in areas that you had worked on for a while otherwise.
Yeah.
What is the weirdest thing a fan has given you as a gift? Has anyone given you anything like strange, you know, like you thought, well, here you go, why have they given me a turkey?
Actually,
or like, I can buy that down the shop.
I think so. No, yeah, I haven't had anything weird. I just have a couple like random people online that tell me their life story, and they're just like, I just want to let you know that this is what's happening in my life. And I'm like, okay. And they tell me that they love me, and I'm like, okay, I love you too. Like, I don't know. I don't know what helping or making it worse, but I'm just like, thank you for being my fan. Like, I don't know. Like, so it is what it is. But that's kind of the only thing. It's just a couple like random messages, and maybe they just want somebody to respond or listen, but I'm not like going to visit them anytime soon or anything. I'm just like, love you too. Have a good day. Good luck with everything. That's it. So that's the only weird I feel like I get.
that's fair enough. Oh, where would you travel if you had a choice to pack your luggage and go, and why would you go there with your boyfriend, yourself? If you would had to go anywhere, you didn't have anything else to do, and you thought, you know what, we can do whatever we want, where should we go now?
So right now, I think it's Denmark, because we were in Amsterdam, amazing music scene, but one of his friends who's a musician has like an amazing sushi business, and he like makes it fresh. Wow. And I think his restaurant, he said he's from Switzerland, but it's in Denmark. So I'm like, I want to go there and go get some sushi. You guys can do music, and then I'll go to Switzerland and go snowboarding for a little while. so that's like when you said now, that's where I want to go right now, just for that moment. But some good sushi, wow. I'm sure. But
oh, that's amazing.
And maybe like to California, so I can get some sun after, because I'll be all cold from the snow over there, right?
If you could meet anyone, dead or alive, who would it be?
I don't know. I think I would probably want to meet Bruce Lee and pick his brain a little, or at least have him like talk and like just record him, just because like what was going through that man's mind, like wow, like he was, it's beyond. Like, I sometimes don't even believe it's real. So I kind of would want to probably meet him. Yeah. And just listen. Just be a good listener.
Yeah, no, that's a great answer too. Actually, I'm a big fan. Since I was 6, and one of my things that I'd love to have is when I get the time to is to actually go to Seattle, and meet Sifu Lee, there, his and Brandon there, and they'll be there, and then just to be know that his presence is there, and to be honored to be there in the same place as him, even though he's not around anymore, but it's just being there, it'd be great, because I said to my partner, I said that would be like one of my sort of check off lists to have, a bucket list thing for one day. When I say, look, I've done that and I've been there and it was amazing. It'd be like one of those things, coming to visit you there, one day, and be like, yes, I'll finally meet Jessy in person, and it's not, I know she's a real person, as you can tell. This is a real interview. She's not a made up person. Yes, she is real.
The big house where I live. I mean, you can't find me really, but
oh, okay. This is a funny one. Be prepared for this one, Jessy. If aliens landed on Earth tomorrow and offered you to take you to their home planet, would you go with them, you and your boyfriend?
well, I might go. No, I don't know. I'd be like, so what is actually at your home that I would do? Like, is it glow in the dark or something? But I don't know. I think for me, it'd be like the whole space travel thing. Like, I don't fly well. I don't know if I could really. I think I'd teleport me. I'd be down, and then just bring me back. I got my bunny rabbits. I gotta be nice over here. Take care of them.
You'd have to bring them with you. Bring the rabbits.
Maybe.
Oh God, I've loved this. Do you have any unusual or unique talents that we do not know about?
I mean, I think we've gone over like the breakdancing thing is kind of cool. I'm trying to think of anything else. Not really. I'm not that cool other than that. That's pretty much it. I mean, I dance. I do some artwork. I punch people in the face once in a while. I just. Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
I definitely am just like a jack of all trades. I like to try new things like snowboarding and jumping out of airplanes. I jumped over Lake Tahoe once. That was fun. But yeah, it's just open-minded. As long as it's like sort of safe. I don't want to die, So.
Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, wow. What's your favorite holiday?
I like Halloween. I like to dress up. I like to just like we do like a thing like we just like have all the candles and have fun, and it's cool. Like we do music nights, like I said before with Justin. He makes a Halloween mix. But I'm a Halloween person. Yeah, I like black, purple, and red, so it goes with the holiday.
Wow. No, that's a good enough answer for me. After this interview, I'm gonna have to let my partner know that you're a Harry Potter fan as well, so she'll love that, because she loves Harry Potter. Oh my goodness. Cool. You know what? I don't know how she's managed to do it. She either hypnotized me or anything, but for some reason, I'm going to confess, I'm actually become a fan. Shh, don't tell her. She's going to laugh. She goes, I knew it.
They have a walkthrough, like a Harry Potter walkthrough local to New York, where we're about like an hour away. And it's like the whole area. I don't know if they have it in the UK, but the forest is like, it's got everything like 3D and it's so beautiful. So if you're ever in Connecticut or New York, just saying.
Oh, wow. You two are going to get on well. When I let her know, I'll say, well, you won't realize. Do you realize there's another Harry Potter fan in Connecticut? Jessy's actually a Harry Potter fan. And she's like, no way. Oh, that's amazing. Oh, right, okay. What is one message you would give to your fans? Is there anything that you would like to say to them?
I'm sorry.
That's right.
Yeah, I think I'm really like happy to have like fans in general. Just thank you so much for their support. Like in general, I've never felt so like happy to be where I'm at and supported. And to not stop watching like females in general. That's not just me, but like help inspire younger girls to like move their way up and make their way up, because it's a tough world out there for us females. You know, it's about how you look sometimes and how you perform. And if you have one bad performance, it's like, well, my coach, like I said, he's been an amazing person. He says your time will come, and it did with Bellator, and it's not gone. And if I work hard, then no matter what, just keep training, keep working your ass off, and you'll get in the cage. And when I got in the cage with Julia Budd, best fight of my life, I lost that fight. And losing is not the worst thing that can ever happen to you. It was probably still the best fight I've ever had, my performance wise. So I honestly just, keep going. And thank you to the fans for just being there for me.
Yeah, I'd love to see that live one day. Like now I've got pizza and all the varieties of different types of food you're recommending me now before I go there. Now I know. I'm like, yes, that's a career. Oh wow. On here I have, here we go. Are you good at accents? Do you do any accents?
No, but my coach's fiance, we joke a little bit. She does a British accent sometimes when she wakes up in the middle of the night, and she's just like, "Oh, hello," or like, I was like, so after one of my fights, I always have my teammates, like they stay in the room. The casino gives us a room, so it's my coach and his wife, and me and my boyfriend. And she, I think, woke up and was like, "Oh," like speaking British, and my boyfriend is like, "Wait, is she speaking like British or English or what?" So it's a big joke. It's funny, but yeah, not me. But I got somebody who's pretty good at it. So.
Oh, bless them. Yeah, no, that you're pretty good out there. When you actually do one. There was one, I think, a few people. I was watching a video, and they were so good at accents, I couldn't even tell the difference. I was like, wow, that was amazing. I was like, wow, now you switch it over to try and sound Canadian or American, and then you can tell that they're trying so hard, where they're trying to, whether they're going to be southern or northern or anything like that, or part of the States, and they're like, no, you're doing it all wrong.
I mean, I know there's like a lot of actors out there that I didn't even realize that they spoke a different, like they sound completely different, and they're, so there's people that are really good at it, like you said.
I discovered they're either good at accents or even languages. That's the point. Do you know any other languages? That's one up. No,
I took French for a million years, and I don't really remember much.
Oh, bless you.
Yeah, I can't quote myself and say I know something unless I could actually say at least hello, goodbye, and like a little bit more than that.
That's all right. Do you have a favorite accent?
I do like the Australian. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like any kind of
the Aussies.
I'm a fan of it.
Do you sing in the shower?
I don't. I used to, I feel like, but I don't anymore. We don't have a radio in the shower anymore. I think because we have a musical house, it's not like necessary for me to sing in the shower anymore, because there's music always going on at my house.
Yeah.
So.
What was your favorite toy? Did you have a favorite toy when you was younger?
I don't remember. I think I got punched in the head too many times. I don't really remember.
I'm
like, it's nice when you watch Netflix, like the season's going, and like next year the new season, I'm like, oh, I can watch the season again because I kind of forgot. But the doctors, my CAT scan on my head is good, but
oh my god,
I do have a nephew playing around, like buying some toys for him, so I'll let you know if I find something like, oh my god, I used to love that.
What's the most interesting thing you've read or seen this week?
Well, this week, I don't know. I don't have an answer for you. I don't have anything great, to be honest. I've been taking some time off reading and more like I've been at the gym because I've been off this week. I've been at the gym and then playing some video games. So I've been playing
That's right.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Very interesting. 14. I think it's called MMO, where you're like talking to other people, and there's like Christmas stuff in there. There's like Christmas like decorations in the video game. It's so cool. So that's like, so that's the most interesting thing I've seen this past week. I was like, wow, this is awesome. So.
Oh wow. Yeah, no, I've been playing. I'm starting to get used to in the gaming part of the world. Is I'm an NBA 2K fan, and I was playing 21 and then 22. I'm still getting used to the 22 to 23 with the controls because they keep changing. Like, no doubt you probably similar to you. When you have a certain game, you're used to having something, so you have to readjust to, like, if there's like a meter reading on something, so whether they've got it down below like this on a meter, where you can do something, where you can fire something or shoot. And then my eldest son and I, we were laughing about it. I thought, oh my goodness, we're gonna have to readjust again. I said they've gone. It's like they've gone backwards, because what they did in 21, they've changed it again to 22. And on the 23, it was like as if they've got, because I've seen footage when you're trying to shoot the ball, they no longer have like the crossover. You know, when you have maneuvers like you have for like MMA, if you're doing something for, like, if you're playing a game like the UFC or MMA belt or something like that, certain buttons no longer you can function with that anymore. So if you're like doing like a stand up on the groundwork, the same as you would do with basketball, you can't do that anymore. So they're making it harder, so it's more challenging, which is good, but at the same time they've changed everything, so you feel like you have to undo what you knew and start afresh again. So I'm like, oh, so yeah, I'm like that with the gaming thing as well. No, I appreciate that. And lastly, just to wrap things up, which has been such an amazing interview with you, I really appreciate this, and it's been an honor, Jessy, you know, even speaking to you on here. What are your favorite clothes? Are you a smart kind of person, or do you like your coziness like I am? I like to t-shirt and jeans person and hat.
Yeah, I'm definitely like a baggy sweatshirt and like maybe like tight short kind of pants or something, but like a baggy, like it's so comfortable. Like sometimes I'll even go really baggy shorts or pants too. I don't care. But I like everything that glows. I have light up shoes. So I have sneakers that light up. I have my mom just got me this white jacket that lights up and it's baggy. So I'm excited because it's like like you don't know, or like a black, like I'll have a whole bunch of black on and then like all of a sudden I like turn on the lights and you're like, whoa, what is that thing? And then I like close it and you can't find me again. So I like that kind of stuff. I like stuff that I can be really bright or really good at hiding. So, but I'm definitely a hoodie kind of person. But most of my hoodies, my favorite ones, are very colorful.
Yeah, no, it's good to have a variety of it. Like I've gone through something like that. I've gone through stages through like wearing dark colors to now wearing a bit of color, so you can be seen to what it is. And you know, it's like at the moment I've got this. I don't know if you've seen it here. Look, I've got.
Oh, you got Grogu on, yeah. The Mandalorian, cool, very cool.
Baby Yoda.
Yeah, I definitely like I go through phases. Like I really like having like the bright stuff, but sometimes I have to be mindful. I'll like leave and go to the store and I forget I have purple hair and I'll have like a purple shirt and I'm like, oh my God, I'm like a giant grape. Like, what did I do? I didn't look in the mirror. I have a yellow gi and I also have a red gi. So sometimes I mix and match my colors for my gis for jujitsu. And I one time was wearing a yellow top and red pants and my boyfriend's like, are you Ronald McDonald? So I'm like, no, like what? So I have to be mindful about my color combination sometimes.
Oh wow, no, seriously, this is one of the most funniest and most entertaining sort of I had with a martial artist on here. Yeah, you're gonna have to, folks, audience, you're gonna have to look back at this. This has been a great and sort of honourable interview with Jessy Miele. It's amazing, a Bellator MMA. And you know, I'd love to have you back on the show, you know, and it'd be great to sort of talk, you know, behind the scenes of what other activities you do and give us an update. And even in the foreseeable future, you know, if you have an event, let us know, and then see if we can get you on the show. You know, it'd be great to have you back on here. It's been a really enjoyable and honourable sort of moment today. Thank you very much for coming on to the Phil Carew Show.
Thank you for having me. Honestly, it's been great to be here, and it's definitely getting a little colder now that I've been out here. So so I appreciate everything. Have a great rest of your day.
No, you too as well. Thank you very much. And don't forget, folks, to come onto the Phil Carew Show to subscribe and share. And if you want any more information, I'll get some more information on Jessy Miele on here on what she's doing, activities and what you want to do. I'll stick that onto the Phil Carew Show on the YouTube. So yeah, also Jessy, just to let everyone know, I always let all my guests have a copy. So you'll enjoy that before I launch it. So no doubt you'll see this before everyone else anyway. And then I will also hopefully be able to transfer most of the stuff that I've done on the shows onto Audible. So if you're not able to watch it, you can also listen to it. I'll be able to transfer that onto Spotify. So I'll let everyone else know that, and yourself. Thank you very much once again, Jessy. Have a good day and take care. And thank you very much for coming on. Take care. Bye, everyone. Bye, Jessy. Wow. There you go, folks. Phil Carew Show, Jessy Miele, Bellator MMA. Thanks very much. And like I said, don't forget, share and subscribe on the Phil Carew Show. Take care. Bye for now, folks. Bye-bye.